I always knew there was something special about the place I'm growing up. My friends would complain about living in an agricultural community, but I could never fully agree. I like the way I can get to know people better by connecting them to their family farm and how I'm a part of that network through my father's role in the dairy industry. I don't think there's anything like the unspoken circle I joined when I began showing jerseys at the county fair, and I love how neighbors are always there to check in on the construction of a new barn. I always knew there was something special about the place I'm growing up, but the more cities I visited and foreign cultures I encountered, the more negligible my little farm town seemed. If Madrid has centuries-old cathedrals, what are our little parish halls? If Montreal has avenues of authentic cuisines, what's our downtown village diner? My doubt in the significance of my community grew the more I saw of the outside world. But amongst this growing uncertainty, I held steadfast to the belief that there had to be something that made my little town significant in the scope of global culture. There had to be some reason why ag towns like mine were getaways for city dwellers and constantly romanticized in literature and film. I reflected upon my community and was able to find the answer I was looking for. A farm town cares for its residents, and not in the way of a trivial personification. The closed circle that separates residents like myself from urban facets provides a haven for personal growth and a system of support for the pursuit of individual aspirations. This support, I've discovered, is given indiscriminately and begins with the foundation of health. There is an evident lure to the idea of locally produced food. You can see it in everything, from the logo on your lettuce to the advertisement of your eggs, but there is evidence that reveals its true benefits. The apple grown in the nearby orchard is much more nutritious than the fruit flown in from Washington. This is because you as a consumer can get to it quicker. From the moment it's harvested, produce begins to lose its nutritional value, a degradation exacerbated by the artificial lighting and temperature changes of extended transportation. Because of this, those who live in agricultural communities have access to the most nutritious food there is, and therefore have an asset in combating disease and building healthier futures. Additionally, a recent CDC study revealed rural areas to have higher qualities of air as opposed to urban areas. The same study did reveal rural areas to have lower qualities of potable water, and various surveys, including one by Dordt University, have discovered lower associated statuses of mental health. But with a solid foundation provided by nutrition and clean air, residents have the means to address these problems and build healthier futures. The support given by ag communities extends into economic matters. The borders that define a farm town are not just a geographic encompassment, but a loose financial circle. The money spent within this area funds the entrepreneurship of neighbors, creating a cyclic flow of money and support that better enables residents to pursue their dreams. A recent article by the Brookings Institution illustrates the power of this complex. In emphasizing entrepreneurship, a small Virginian town was able to save itself from collapse, and so too is this nexus a savior for many communities and individuals across the nation. My mother's veterinary clinic prospers through the return of clientele from local florists and chefs. My father makes a point to purchase locally produced milk, and lots of it, from the same farms he works with as a pharmaceutical salesman. No matter your business aspiration, you have only to buy local to be assured that your expenditures will find a way of coming back around. This is an atypical, exceptional environment for the pursuit of dreams. As extraordinary as these health and economic benefits are, they're not all that grant ag communities their significance in the world. Technically, through policy and engineering, these factors could be replicated in urban areas. The historic sites of monarchs and centuries-old architecture can't be recreated, not truly. So what is the unreplicable characteristic of farm towns? What am I growing up surrounded by that only a tourist could see? Farm town support systems are bigger than health, bigger than the fulfillment of dreams. Agricultural communities are systems and networks of motivation and guidance that provide residents with guidance through life. There are a million examples I could try and incorporate to illustrate to you how this is true, but there's none better I could think of than my town's FFA chapter. In this organization, students like me are encouraged to test vital leadership and communication skills and are straightforwardly critiqued in order to grow. In this organization, neighbors and local alumni like you volunteer as judges, guiding and advising students like me so that we may become the best at whatever we may wish to become. In this organization, local parents and teachers step up and provide food and rides, binders, and official dress for students who may not have the means to discover their true potential otherwise. FFA is not the organization, it is the people who make it possible. A farm town is not the zip code, it is the residents who unconsciously work together to maintain the system of unbiased, unprejudiced support that makes it so unique. And agriculture is to be attributed. Whether it be growing green beans for a roadside stand or milking 800 head of cattle, the cultivation of food is an undertaking founded on the cooperation of individuals. The bonds that tie a plant science teacher to a poultry farmer and a tractor mechanic to a supermarket employee are complex, interwoven, and most importantly, interdependent. Perhaps, in farm towns like mine, residents are unable to flip the switch on helping out their neighbors, even in matters apart from their jobs. Perhaps this is the reason why my FFA advisor facilitates the cattle showing endeavors of kids outside of school, why a local feed mill sponsors the youth lacrosse program that keeps many of the town's students active, healthy, and happy. Perhaps this is why the farm town is notorious for its interconnectedness. Residents help each other out. We don't know how not to. Agriculture provides a substratum for community members to build our own system of support, our own means to become who we wish to become and help the next person do the same. That is unreplicable. Thank you.
All right, question 1. What benefits have you personally experienced from coming from a small town?
Our agricultural businesses in my community are very generous with their sponsorship of local programs. I mentioned the youth lacrosse program in my speech. This is something that I have been a part of since I was in kindergarten, something I have learned invaluable lessons from in teamwork, cooperation, competitiveness, hard work. This is just one example of an opportunity provided for me through the agricultural businesses that I've made possible through this system and network of support. Agriculture also provides a way for me to get to know my neighbors better, to be connected with people. Being a part of the local 4-H, the local FFA, helps me make those connections to not only discover new routes and possibilities and careers, but to meet new people and get to hear different perspectives.
Question 2. Do you think there are benefits to not growing up in a small agricultural community?
Yes. So while there are many health benefits and benefits to living in a smaller population, a smaller group, there are also benefits to living in a larger community. When you live in a city, you are a voice in a broader population that is able to draw more attention from local and national governments, from broader organizations. For example, if there is a water insecurity crisis in a city, it is more likely that the state or the federal government will catch on to it quicker, will hear the voices of the people there to come in and address it. Whereas if there was a similar problem in a smaller community with, say, 5,000 people, as opposed to several 100,000 people, it will be much slower for governments and nonprofit organizations to come in and take that action.
Question 3. I have often said within this widely actively discussed topic of late diversity, the togetherness and helpfulness for farming communities and the work involved leaves little room for this thought of diversity to be even considered. I believe that if all the people took a part in the food that keeps them alive, there'd be more communal understanding as a whole in this world. With this idea expressed, can you give an example how it might be possible to get the world involved with food farm production?
So agriculture is an incredibly broad field, and this is something I am coming to realize as I participate in different endeavors. This past summer, I proposed a project addressing water insecurity in Uganda and presented it at the Global World Food Prize Convention. So in analyzing the agriculture and the problems that were hindering it in a different country, being able to present this research to different students and advisors from around the globe, I was able to really see all the different facets of agriculture. Agriculture is not just food, it is water security, it is gender equality, it is the relations between the government and the people, it is many different aspects. And the sooner that people can realize all these different things that make up agriculture, the sooner we may realize how much we have in common by being tied to it. The community of agriculture is bigger than just the farm town. It extends to many different levels. There's the town, there's the county, there's the state, there's a nation, there's a world, and we're all tied together through agriculture. So in pushing different campaigns to really explain this information, explain this tie, connect different nonprofit organizations, different leadership programs within these different fields, we can really tie together all of the people in the different facets of agriculture and really come to recognize that unity we have with working towards a common field.